Hi, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I wanted to talk to you about why you should actually go on a sabbatical leave every once in a while. So I'm going to get into what is a sabbatical leave. I'm going to define what a sabbatical leave is, and then go into why it's important. So I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And this is something that happens in academia as well as other worlds, like in church ministries or something like that, as well as it's starting to move into the real world now. But what is a sabbatical leave? Well, this is a leave that after you've worked for 5, 6, 7 years at a particular institution, you get some time, whether it's a couple of months, whether it's a year, to go and visit another institution, another university, where you can learn about what they're doing, or you can do some research, or you can partner with other people. You can go and collect data in other places. Sometimes people will do sabbatical leaves just to get rid of all of the extra commitments that they have, like teaching commitments and what is called service commitments, like kind of running the university. They will not do any of that stuff for a year so they can focus on doing their research and develop their research a little bit more, and explore opportunities and things like that. So in the church ministries, I think it's very similar, and they go for a couple of months to go in another church or take some time off. In the sort of real world, you might be able to go on a sabbatical to go to another institution, another business, for example, or a department in your business. I remember working at a large ministry of health in Canada, and there were sabbatical leaves to go to a different department or different branch of that ministry, where you can go and explore what they're doing. Now, the reason why you want to do this, and why it's actually good from the academic standpoint, it really increases your research productivity, right? Because you get this dedicated time to do some more research, or you can actually meet a co-author, for example, or increase the status of your resume, for example. So if you do a sabbatical at Berkeley, at Harvard, at I don't know where else, I don't know, any of these kind of places, right? That's going to increase the status of your resume or your CV substantially, and it's going to give you more job opportunities in the future. So that's an important thing. If you're teaching international business, for example, and you go on sabbatical, and you go to a different country, that's going to be really good to tell these experiences about sort of cultural difficulties and cross-cultural management and things like that. That's really important. So that's going to be important. And then when you do sabbaticals, normally it's at certain stages of your career, right? So normally, for a younger professor like myself, it's right after you do your assistant professorship and you get tenure, and you go and you take a sabbatical leave someplace. And then after that, then you spend some time, then you go back into become an associate professor. Normally what people will do, and if you're thinking about sort of work-life stuff, what people used to do is they do like an academic apartment exchange, where they'd go and live in another professor's apartment where they've gone on sabbatical leave, and they do that for a couple of months. And normally, I forgot to mention that sabbatical leaves don't have to happen at the same institution. You can do a sabbatical leave for a month here, a month there, a month there. So Americans, or Canadians, right? But I'm living in America. They might go to Europe, and they do 6 months in Europe and do kind of a tour of Europe to get, what's going on in Europe, for example. And Europeans will come down here to see what's going on with the sort of American stuff. And there's differences. There definitely is differences in terms of the research that we do from here to there. And, that we like to explore what's going on, see what's going on. Not to mention, I mean, going to Europe, you get better food sometimes, right? Not to knock on the Americans, but if you're going to France or Italy, it's pretty hard to sort of get to the same food level there. So anyways, why is it important to do oh, and I forgot to mention, with the sabbatical leaves, now what a lot of people just do is Airbnb it. So they'll look up on Airbnb and find a place for a couple of months. And so why is it important to do a sabbatical leave? Well, this is gonna, hey, it's gonna increase your research productivity or whatever it is. It's gonna give you a break, right? That's important sometimes to have these sort of life breaks. The other thing is you can really find new opportunities, right? So often we get stuck in sort of life, like we get stuck in a rut in life, right? And this is called, we've kind of, if you think of the amount of opportunities that are out there, there's a limited amount of opportunities that are around you typically, and we often have to explore the sort of the surrounding around us much further away to find sort of larger opportunities. So if you go and explore larger opportunities, sometimes you can find things that are going to be much more fruitful and productive for you. So for example, you might find a co-author in another institution that is very, very productive, and you work together and you really find out that you just jive, or you have the same sort of interest, and things just take off, right? So you can be very much more productive that way. And maybe you go to another institution, maybe you go to Harvard and you learn a really cool idea that they're doing there, and you take that idea and you bring it home, and then all of a sudden your research productivity increases. This stuff happens all the time, and that's really important. Even so, in the pastoral world, you might learn about some sort of new faith walk. If you are in the working world, you might learn about different opportunities that you can come, different sort of tools and techniques and stuff that you can bring back into your own institution. Instead of hiring a consultant, for example, that might be the cheaper way to go. And you're going to increase the amount of love that you're giving your employees, I guess, or the employees are going to love your institution because they can do these sabbaticals. So that's all I wanted to say. Sabbatical leaves are actually a really good thing. For most people, you want to sort of balance the amount of time that people work versus going on a sabbatical to someplace else. Oh, and the pay, I forgot to mention, the pay is sort of, it's negotiated in terms of what it is. Sometimes there's paid sabbaticals, sometimes there's unpaid sabbaticals, so it just depends on what you're doing and where you're going. I've heard of all sorts of crazy arrangements, so just negotiate that when you're going through the pay. So that's it. Have a good day, take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.